Hello everybody, and today we are leaving Yosemite for the day and taking a 3-hour drive to Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Park. The main reason that we decided to leave Yosemite for the day was because the Mariposa Grove was closed, so this was going to be the next best way to see a lot of giant sequoias. Kings Canyon is home to General Grant. General Grant is the largest giant sequoia in the General Grant Cove in Kings Canyon, but it is also the second largest tree in the world, so it is something that is definitely worth coming to see. Kings Canyon National Park and Sequoia National Park are actually connected by the General's Highway, and we actually get to take that. We thought we were not going to be able to take it because, as you can see walking around here, there was quite a bit of snow, and so a lot of the places were requiring chains on the tires. We got to the national park around lunchtime, and so we did eat in Kings Canyon National Park, and I definitely recommend their food over Yosemite's food. I just felt like the quality was better and the portion size was way better than what we got in Yosemite National Park. After a quick walk around through the visitor center and picking up some trinkets and stuff, we headed right down to General Grant Grove. And right away, you were surrounded by these amazing giant sequoia trees. The Grant Tree Trail is about a half a mile long and is a fairly flat trail. There is a little bit of an incline, but the whole way is paved, so it's really quite easy and accessible for anybody in any shape. During our trip, there were a few times that the pavement was a little bit slick from where snow was still on the ground, but for the most part the trail was fairly open and easy to navigate. The other amazing thing is that throughout this trail, you are pretty much surrounded by giant sequoias in every direction that you look. About a tenth of a mile in, you will come to a fallen giant sequoia. This sequoia is known as the Fallen Monarch, and if you're familiar with any of the Ken Burns documentaries, you may be familiar with this picture where the entire, or at least a decent portion of the U.S. cavalry is standing either along the tree or actually even on top of the tree. And that's because in 1876, the U.S. cavalry actually used this great fallen tree as a stable for around 32 horses. Being able to walk through this tree is just hard to put into words, the feeling that you have. Walking around the Grant Cove, you can see all of these giant sequoias, but their roots are protected because you don't want to walk on them, obviously, and damage the trees. So you can't really get close to a lot of the giant sequoias. So actually being able to walk through this one really gives you a sense of just how amazingly large these trees are and how amazing nature can be. The next amazing thing that we were able to see, although it was a little bit treacherous getting up to it, was the General Grant tree. And this tree was named, as you might imagine, after Ulysses S. Grant, who was the 18th President of the United States. It was also named the nation's Christmas tree by President Calvin Coolidge in April of 1926. The General Grant tree has been measured to be 267 feet high and is thought to be around 1,650 years old. The next thing that we saw was the Gamblin Cabin. The Gamblin Cabin was built in 1872 by Israel Gamblin, who lived here with his brother until Kings Canyon National Park was created. At that time, the U.S. cavalry that was staying there used this cabin as a storage facility, but that later became the quarters of the first park ranger that lived in Kings Canyon. And this is just a last look at another one of the amazing giant sequoias in the Grant Cove. Then we were off on our next adventure across the General's Highway, which warned of some potential snow on the road and ice on the road, but we were lucky enough that that was not the case. There was quite a bit of snow everywhere else around the road, but they had done an excellent job, as well as the sun had done a great job at clearing the roads for us so that we had a nice safe drive over to Sequoia National Park. So here is my tip for those of you planning a vacation to Kings Canyon or Sequoia National Park. Go to Sequoia National Park first and get there early, because the parking in Sequoia National Park is atrocious. There is just too few parking, and if it's not busy enough, they don't run a shuttle to go see General Sherman. And the parking there is maybe 10 or 20 cars, it seems like. Maybe there were more, but there was certainly not enough for the number of people. Once we had found parking next to the visitor center, we decided to go in there and walk around, and one of the cool things that they had was this visualization of the trees. And so the tallest tree that you will find is typically the lodgepole pine tree, and then the giant sequoias tend to be the biggest, sort of around and tall as well, but lodgepole pines are actually taller typically than giant sequoias. After we finished checking out the visitor center, we had to say goodbye to Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Park without seeing General Sherman. I was pretty bummed about this, but unfortunately there was just not enough parking and we didn't have the time to stay and wait for it. We were able to get back just in time to see the sunset over Tunnel View, which was an amazing end to the day. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and as always, give me a like and a thumbs up. Have a great day.